CNBC-TV18.
On Overdrive today, we take two of the most sought-after electric cars for a drive within the city to find out which is an all-round electric daily driver. We also take a closer look at Tata Motors' first CNG powered HCV, the Signa 2818T. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I am Soini Dutt. If you're in the market looking for a feature-packed and a long-range electric vehicle for your family, then you have two very interesting options. The updated MG ZS EV as well as the Tata Nexon EV Max. They both offer really good range and we're here to drive them in real-world condition to find out just which of these would better suit your daily commute.
Now the MG ZS EV makes a good case for itself if you're looking for a family SUV that happens to be electric. It's got 461 kilometers of range, a spacious, well-packed cabin, and it ducks in under rupees 30 lakhs. But what if you don't want to stretch your budget that far? Then the Nexon EV Max with 437 kilometers of range is a nice option too. Of course, it's smaller, but it's also 7 lakhs less in price. And you get a lot of features with this one as well. So which one should you pick? We'll tell you that today. To be fair, without their EV powertrains, these SUVs wouldn't have been direct rivals. But as it stands, they are your only two choices currently if you have between rupees 20 to 30 lakh to spare on an electric vehicle. Now both these electric SUVs wear their green credentials on their sleeve, but the ZS EV is a bit more shouty about it. To start with, that's mainly due to this new blanked out fascia that came with the facelift. It can polarize opinion, but what we don't like as much is this integration of this charge port. Of course, the placement itself is quite intuitive, which means you can just drive into a charging station and start charging. But earlier, in the way it was integrated into the logo was cleaner. Having said that, the rest of the design is smart, at least on the front. Now the Nexon, on the other hand, when you see it beside the ZS EV, looks a bit more conventional, but that's probably down to how common this car has become now on our streets. But of course, you can't miss it. It's still an EV very clearly with this blanked out grille, this blue EV lettering and these bright blue highlights. Of course, to Tata Motors' credit, the facelift has been very nicely done, so it still doesn't look like an old car. And these bright colors too help with that fact. Now, as soon as you step inside the ZS EV, you know where that added money that you spent on it has gone. I mean, every surface that you touch is soft, except for the ones here, they're still hard plastics, but generally, the seats, for example, they're leather, the stitching, and all these materials, they have a nice heft, they have a sense of quality to them that is quite appealing, especially considering that this is still under 30 lakhs. So in that sense, the ZS EV has a clear advantage in terms of how it feels in terms of the perception of quality inside. Now the Nexon EV Max is based on the Nexon obviously, and which is a segment lower than the ZS EV, and that shows in the way the cabin is built. So soft touch surfaces are limited to, say, here for your elbow and another one here on the armrest. But having said that, Tata Motors has done its bit to sort of liven up the space. So you get this very distinct sort of finish, this blue sort of highlighting, very discreet, very nicely done here too. And it must be said that the build quality has improved over time. And now in terms of features, of course, again the ZS EV has an advantage. But if you look closely, Tata Motors has played it smart. So you get some very nice, thoughtful additions. The ventilated seats being one of them. They're absolutely essential in our weather. And another one, this lock to sort of open and close the charging port. It's a very Indian thing. It's something that owners of EVs will appreciate. Now another big change in the Nexon EV Max over the standard Nexon EV is this new gear selector, or this whole center console in general. Now this looks like the most premium part of this cabin, to be honest. And this selector with its graphics really does look quite premium. Now the big difference comes in terms of practicality, where the Nexon really doesn't score very highly. This center new design with the wireless charger and the small cubby hole here has eaten into space for cup holders. There's really no place for you to put cups anywhere in the front, which is a big drawback. And the bottle holders too are recessed behind, which aren't that great. And as you'll see, that continues in the back seat as well. So practicality is not really the Nexon EV's Max's strong suit. The Tata only gets a single pane sunroof and limited connected features. but both get auto headlamps and wipers, cruise control, climate control, which is far more effective in the Nexon, and tilt steering adjustment. The ZS EV does better with its safety features, offering 6 airbags, 360-degree cameras, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and lane change assist. You even get rear seatbelt warnings, a great addition given the current talk on the matter. The Nexon EV Max makes do with 2 airbags and a single rear camera, but both get TPMS and a useful hill descent control function along with stability control. Now, like the rest of the cabin, this instrumentation in the ZS EV also looks more premium than the Nexon at first glance at least, and it has quite a few benefits. For example, you have these nice digital readouts for the speed and the power that you're using. And this central diagram also gives you a very clear idea what's happening with the SUV. Among the things that we don't like is this very small readout for the range. I mean, we think it could have been a much larger display, taking up a bit more screen space, and the same is true for this regen mode as well as the battery state level. These could have been larger icons considering they are the most important stats that you are looking at most times. Although completely opposite is this trip data, which is again very nicely laid out, very legible. So you have a great idea what's happening with the car in terms of how efficiently you're driving. The MG ZS EV gets a larger battery pack with this update, growing from 44.5 kWh to 50.3 kWh. The one in the Tata Nexon EV Max is notably smaller at 40.5 kWh, but still quite a bit larger than the 30.2 kWh of the standard Nexon EV. Having said that, there's less of a gap in the two SUVs' ranges.
While styling, practicality and features are very important when you're buying a car, what's most important when you're choosing an electric vehicle, of course, is driving range and performance. More on that after this very short break. Stay with us, you're watching Overdrive. Welcome back, you're with us on Overdrive. Now, recently MG Motors has given the ZS EV an update, which means it gets a bigger battery pack, which also translates to a longer driving range of 461 kilometers. And Tata Motors has also updated the Nexon EV, calling it the Nexon EV Max, again with a slightly bigger battery pack, but that also translates to 437 kilometers of driving range. So we drove these cars in real-world conditions to find out whether these numbers are indicative of their real-world driving range.
Hi, electric man.
Hi, Bob. So I spent the whole day driving these two electric SUVs.
Electric.
They're the most popular ones in India currently. So now I'd like you to tell me what you think about that. So should we go for a spin?
Sure, let's go. You've kept any electric juice left in there?
Of course, enough for you to figure out what's what.
And is the engine running? There's no engine, it's a motor. How much range have you left for me to use?
There's still 143 kilometers in this one.
Where does it say? 143.
Yeah.
But that's so small.
Yeah,
to it.
exactly.
It's like they don't want you to know the range.
Almost like that's to look quite closely to sort of see it.
And you know, when you have reading glasses like I do, separate ones,
Yeah.
then it's even a little more difficult. But normal cars, you look at the RPM meter, the speedometer, fuel, engine temperature maybe. Here now you're looking at how much is the battery charge, what's the regeneration that's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And these are such important factors, right? Considering people are still getting used to driving these cars.
So am I. Huh?
Yeah.
You are the electric man. You are the one who spent a lot of time behind the wheel of electric vehicles. But really, I'm looking at all these displays. I mean,
Yeah.
what I visualize as someone who's driving EV vehicles, you're going to be looking at this screen far more than you would in a conventional internal combustion engine car. Because you really want to know what's your battery condition like, what's the charging happening, what's the range, because it keeps changing.
Yeah.
And given on the way you're driving, which mode you're in, I believe all these cars, now this one has how many modes? 3 modes?
It has 3 drive modes and then 3 more regen modes, so you have a wide permutation of driving sort of feel coming out of it.
So which means once you start using it on a regular basis, living with the vehicle, you learn that these are my driving conditions, this is my daily commute, and this is the setup that works best for me.
In that sense, I found that the Nexon EV Max was a bit clearer with its range sort of estimate, because it will change with each drive mode and then it will further change with each regen level. So you always have a fair idea of the amount of range that you
get in if you use which mode. And very interesting. I mean, the cars are going to now require a lot more intelligent drivers, people who can figure out the modes they want, the regions they want, and these were things, I mean, you never consider in a regular IC vehicle.
Yeah, definitely. In our real-world range testing, we managed 390 kilometers from the MG and 355 from the Nexon EV Max in city driving. Both were driven on the same route in the eco mode and highest regen levels. There's a smaller gap in highway driving, the ZS EV managing 342 kilometers while the Tata doing 299 kilometers. The lighter weight and more aggressive regen helped the Nexon EV Max seemingly, while the ZS EV's better outputs maybe keep it less stressed at highway speeds. Now with EV driving, you always need to know how much range you have left or what the status of the battery is. And in that sense, the Nexon EV does a better job of it than the ZS. The range indicator is more accurate, so with each drive mode it changes the range readout, which the ZS EV also does, but the Nexon EV goes a step further. The Nexon EV Max, that's the one that gets the regen mode, to change the range readout with each regen level. So in that case, you always have a very clear idea of how far you can go with the charge that you have. Also quite nice, and this is true for both cars, is the way they shift their driving character with each mode. Now, the main difference that you notice with these driving modes is the change in the throttle response. So for say the same throttle pressure that you're applying, you'll notice that the car is delivering more power, and that genuinely does add to the driving experience. The MG ZS EV has seen a fair bump in power with this facelift, a 36 PS increase to 179 PS, while torque has actually dropped by 70 Nm to 280 Nm. The Nexon EV Max 2 has a 13 PS and 5 Nm more than the standard one at 143 PS and 250 Nm. It's no surprise then that in outright acceleration, the ZS EV is a brisk car with a 0 to 100 kmph time of 7.5 seconds. The Max is notably slower at 8.8 seconds, but to put it in context, it'll still blitz anything this side of a diesel Tucson. There's always enough performance even in eco mode to pass slower cars or fill in gaps in traffic in both EVs. If anything, the ZS EV does have a more precise throttle pedal, and the switch over to regen is a bit more apparent under your right foot. In either case, overtaking performance in both is about as potent as anything else on the road, with both dropping below 2 seconds in all three of our testing ranges. The 7 lakh rupee gap may seem vast, but effectively you have two capable EVs at both ends of a price range. Your budget might be a big factor, but either will suffice as a great urban commuter that keeps range anxiety at bay. Pick the ZS EV if you like the space, features and generally plush ambience, or choose the Nexon EV Max for its driving dynamics or efficiency. It's sheer value putting it just ahead.
As Tuhin just mentioned in this story, both of these electric vehicles are equally capable. You just have to pick one over the other based on your requirements. We'll take a very short break here on the show, but coming up on the other side, we'll tell you all about Tata's new CNG truck, the Signa 2818.T. Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. Tata Motors has just introduced a CNG powered HCV in the market, which is a definitive step towards zero emissions. Here's more on that.
Today we are here for some serious business. What, you ask me? Sustainability. It is one of the most important agendas across every brand in this world. And today we have with us a revolution in terms of tech, built, application, and of course, last but not the least, sustainability. This is the Tata Signa 2818 CNG.
Available in the new Signa and Cowl options, this is the first CNG powered HCV in the 19 and 28 ton nodes in the market.
Being the first CNG powered HCV in the 19 and 28 ton node, this has been aimed to lower a total cost of ownership at first.
The CNG powered 2818T will run up to 1000 km per CNG fuel fill, and this is a big number when long distance travel is in question. The new Signa cabin with a 3-way adjustable seat, tilt and telescopic steering, and music system provides a comfortable journey for the driver and passengers alike. The 5.7-litre SGI engine, driven by a 6-speed gearbox from Tata, produces a huge 650 Nm of torque and 180 horsepower. The Tata Motors are offering high-deck load body with a 6-foot height, which makes it suitable for all market load applications like FMCG, parcel, e-commerce, auto parts, and the list goes on. Tata is also providing these vehicles with other company-fitted body options like containers and refrigerated trucks as ready-to-use vehicles from day one, meeting all statutory and regulatory norms.
This one is a jack of all trades and a master of it too.
The modular CNG kit is another unique aspect, meaning the parts of the CNG kit can be replaced or repaired individually, making this a low-maintenance trusted option for the owner as well. With special features like dual filling receptacle for slow and fast filling, trip mileage indicator, and gear shift indicator, this one is compatible to any condition, terrain, or location. Advanced telematics help the driver and fleet owner remain connected to the vehicle, monitoring its functions and performance for better results. All this with unmatched fuel efficiency and low maintenance cost.
This one checks all the boxes. With advanced safety features and the trustworthy SGI CNG engine, this is no doubt a popular choice amongst truckers.
Let's hear more about the Tata 2818T CNG from Mr. Anirudh Kulkarni, Vice President, Commercial Vehicle Engineering at Tata.
Hello Anirudhji, thank you so much for being here. It's a proud moment for Tata on the sustainability platform with the first CNG trucks in the M&HCV segment. So please tell us more about the technology and the repercussions that it will have on the green revolutions towards trucking in India.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for this compliment. Our Signa 2818 CNG is equipped with a 5.7 SGI Tata Motors engine, which is propelled with a CNG gas and delivers a 180 HP with a 650 Nm torque. This engine comes with a skip fire technology, sequential gas injection, and high energy ignition coils. All the fittings which are used in our piping for the CNG are safest, comes with the latest technology, and we call it as of an international standard. The vehicle is also equipped with a integrated filling unit, which cater to both fast and a slow filling. For CNG, generally when you talk about any vehicle platform, the customer always have 3 challenges in his mind: whether there is a deterioration in performance, the range anxiety part, and the safety and the connectivity features. So all these 3 challenges which customer might face are already taken care in our Signa 2818. And the range anxiety comes from a usage of modular architecture. And this modular architecture, when we talk about this, I can mention about a proper selection of wheelbases and a number of modular CNG cylinder packaging, we are able to do the upward and downward scalability for the range which is ensured, and that is called as like a 500 kilometer you get range, 700 kilometer you can get a range, or you can also surpass 1000 kilometer range in a one go. The third part which is very important is also about the safety and the connectivity side. So whether my truck remains connected with the say driver or with his fleet operator or the workshop manager, and that is what we offer in our Fleet Edge connectivity platform, all the features. The immediate adaptation of CNG is seen across the commercial vehicle fleet due to its simplified architecture. The simplified architecture which is there on the vehicle side, exhaust system side, no regeneration, everything. Other benefit is also like a low TCO and a less CO2 emission. One more added advantage we can see here is the availability of infrastructure. However, it needs to be scaled up in line with the current migration of diesel to a CNG.
But with that, it's a wrap on this week's edition of Overdrive. But remember, you can stay in touch with the team through Facebook, Twitter, as well as YouTube. And you can follow our latest updates on Instagram. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.